It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro.
NHRA podcast, WFO Radio. So here's the thing. It's the first week of no NFL football. I really like the idea of every NHRA drag racing fan wearing their gear into the weekend, right? Like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, going to work, going out to the grocery store, going out to wherever you're going. Wear something NHRA drag racing related. Your favorite team gear, your favorite NHRA gear, your favorite WFO gear, which, by the way, WFO Radio t-shirts are available online at nitrofishracing.com. That 10th anniversary t-shirt, still awesome. You can get it at nitrofishracing.com and available at the track. Definitely want to get that. Just saying. But let's make this a show of force for all the NHRA fans out there. Everybody rock their gear. So everybody's like, well, what is that? That's NHRA drag racing. Well, is it on? It's on this weekend. Oh, there's no NFL on. I'll watch. And hopefully we loop in some of these fans. We got to be grinding it out at all times. Now, on this show, you're going to hear from J.R. Todd. J.R. Todd, the 2018 champ, trying to come back and wrestle that thing back out of the hands of Robert Hight here in 2020. The Yellow Fellas, they got it all going on, and they're getting ready for the start of the season. JR is going to give us his thoughts on the preseason test and the Winter Nationals and what he's looking ahead to and for, plus his winter break, what went down, all of that stuff. JR Todd coming on the show. And I really think that JR has done a great job with the championship when he was the champion, as the championship season title defense unfolded. Like, we put him through the ringer when it came through, like, we need you to do this and we need you to do that. And when I'm doing my Mellow Yellow walking tour, if he's out, I'm going to him. He's the champ. He's the face. Groups of 30 and 40 people, they're going to meet one funny car driver, right? It should be the champ. And also John Force, if that's possible. And JR was just so willing to be helpful and engage with people and laugh a little with them and tell them something personal that they would like and then feel connected and want to watch him through the rest of the race. And that's really what it's all about. He's done a great job. We're going to have J.R. Todd on seconds from now, but I got to tell you, the sponsors, without these people, legitimately, there would be no WFO radio because we couldn't do it. I'd be out there working at the mall, right? I'd be at one of those kiosks in the mall selling something at the kiosk in the mall. Do you guys have those where you're from? They're big down here in the Miami area where WFO Radio is from. But instead, I get to do this. RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com, 817-924-6821. If you take your coffee seriously, you need to try some Rodax coffee. They've got all kinds of blends, drag racing-themed blends that he puts together from the best coffee from around the world. That's the thing, is Marvin has got relationships with these coffee farms all around the world legitimately. And he takes some of them and makes these special blends, much like a Scotch blend would be, except they're coffee blends, drag racing themed, like Bang the Blower, etc. But also grilling and hot sauces and spice rubs and grills. They're located in Fort Worth, Texas. And if I was anywhere down there, I would definitely be going by Marvin's to pick out a grill. Rodax, coffeeandgrills.com, 817-924-6821. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. The Dragster Adventure. You're listening to WFO on a weekly basis, and you're listening to all these people talk about how much they love driving these cars. You should drive one, except without all the overhead and hassle. Just show up and drive one of Frank Hawley's dragsters in the Dragster Adventure. You and your friend, and you could race each other. Or you bring your whole crew of people, your employees, your sales team, your best clients, and you can race each other. And they make it easy for you. And they travel around the country. It's a great program. One of my favorite things to talk about. 866-480-7223, frankhawley.com. Samtech.edu. We've got a sponsor like in certain like niches of life, right? And the young people becoming adults and finding a career that they can show up to and be passionate about every day of their lives. That's tough. That's a tough call. The people that I know that are in motorsports and engine building and machining, they do it. There's the hassles, don't get me wrong, but they love being challenged and they love doing what they do. And Samtech can help you. 713-683-3817. Blockhead, CNC programs, motorsport EFI tuning, CNC machining. They have an Associate of Applied Science degree available, military friendly. can train veterans approved under the GI Bill. Samtech.edu. And then the best thing that they do is they can place you after you have graduated. They have connections with companies. The companies are calling Samtech. We need somebody. Do you have anybody? So it's a pipeline to success. Samtech.edu. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. You know, we're doing podcasts for our sponsors. Samtech, we've got one, Factory Stock Podcast. Total Seal, we've got one, Hidden Horsepower. But really, it's all to educate people who are engine builders. And what I have learned, see, I assume that everybody knows everything, right? And that's not the case. There are a lot of people that are engine builders that go and they'll buy and they'll get the best of the best and then skimp out on the rings and not realize, like, oh, man, this is as vital as it gets. This is where the horsepower is made, and you got to get the best stuff, and that's what Total Seal does. From stock eliminator to the highest of levels, Formula One, boosted Pro Mod, Total Seal is fitting rings for pistons all throughout motorsports, the best of the best, and they're doing such a great job of owning that market, and we really appreciate helping educate a lot of the racers out there. But, you know, you walk the pits, Total Seal. Go to TotalSeal.com, find out why. And MagicDryUS.com. The official organic absorbent of the NHRA, Magic Dry. On board with Scott Palmer, a couple of races, WFO. If you're going to buy something to soak up a spill, it should definitely be Magic Dry. And over the past couple of seasons, they have given out samples at the races, and it's been amazing. It's so lightweight, so easy to use, and it does such a great job. MagicDryUS.com. Can't wait to see Scott Palmer out on the racetrack. And, of course, you know, all those rumors circulating and swirling. Palmer says, on Facebook, he's going to do what the Torrances do. He rides with the Torrances, rides with Capco. And we'll see how that all plays out. But big thanks to Scott for his support of WFO Radio. MagicDryUS.com. And just like that, Drag Racing Edge, EV3 Drag Racing, big supporters, and it's now time. Joining us now, the 2018 Mellow Yellow Funny Car World Champ who's trying to get the title back with DHL and Coletta Motorsports. J.R. Todd joins us now. J.R., welcome back. You ready?
Yeah, Joe, thanks for having me back on. And yeah, it's definitely time to get after it and try and get us another title. You know, it's been a while since somebody's gone back to back, so we're hoping we can keep that streak alive and stop Robert this year.
It's been interesting to watch the whole deal. First of all, we haven't spoken since. You did a great job as a champion. You carried yourself really well. I know you wanted your on-track performance to be a little bit better, but as you said, it's tough to go back-to-back in funny car. There's a thing. I don't know what it is, but there's a thing. But I'm talking about the media responsibilities, like putting yourself out there more for the fans to interact with, doing whatever, silliness we asked you to do at the track and pre-race, etc. You did a great job.
I appreciate that. I mean, and to me, that's part of, what comes with being a champion. You're the face of the sport, a representative of the sport. So you got to do your part and help grow the sport. So I'm all for doing that, and hopefully we can get many more opportunities to keep doing that.
Well, you got to feel confident about your team and your guys. Like on paper, you are one of the favorites, right? Like you've got a great brain trust, you've got a great budget, and you've got a group of hardcore guys that are like ready to go to war for each other. You can't ask for much more than that.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm definitely very honored to be driving that DHL Toyota. I mean, Connie Coletta, he gives us everything we need to go out there and win and perform at a high level. Then when you put guys like Todd Smith and Jono and those yellow fellows together, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a pretty relaxed atmosphere there, and a lot of the guys, the crew guys, are younger, and we share a lot of similarities and have a lot in common. But at the same time, I mean, they're really serious about what they do, but like they like to have a lot of fun while they're doing it. So that's what makes it a unique team. But at the same time, at the end of the day, they want to go out there and rip everybody's head off like I do and win races.
So last year, finished 7th in the countdown, and as we see the countdown play out, it's just you got to get hot. And you got to win certain critical races in early rounds, otherwise you can't get points, and that's what makes it super tough. And if you have a couple of outs early and other guys go rounds, you're done. And there were a couple of racers that were really good, like Tommy Johnson, right? Like they came in hot and nope, no luck in the countdown. And that's kind of the category that I put you guys in. Just wasn't that you were bad. It's just the breaks didn't go your way. But what do you think when you look back at the way 2019 concluded? Clearly, you didn't win, so you're disappointed. But like, what changes can you make for this year?
I mean, it's like you said. It's like you got to get hot at the right time of the year. Courtney Force, the year we won the championship, I mean, she was crushing everybody all throughout the summer races and was probably the odds-on favorite to win the championship that year. And then, we kind of picked up our game there at Indy at the U.S. Nationals and carried it on through the countdown, which is basically what you need to do and what we didn't do last year. I mean, we won the spring race there in Vegas and then just kind of fell off performance-wise all throughout the summer again. And then, once we got to Indy, we went to the semis there, which, that got my confidence back going, and we ran pretty well at the first couple countdown races. But I felt like we were almost too far behind the leaders at that point. I think we started off 8th in the countdown, which it can be done, but it's hard when you got guys like Robert, who's leading the points, starting the countdown. You're chasing him. Like guys like him aren't going to falter throughout the countdown, really. So it's hard to make up ground when you put yourself that far back. And each year I tell myself my goal is to be, top 5 after Indy, just to help soften that distance between you and the leaders. And, like I said, we ran, well at the first couple countdown races, went to the final there in St. Louis against Sean. And after that, just fell off, didn't put the races and the round wins together, weren't catching breaks going our ways. You got guys taking shots at you like my buddy Johnny Lindbergh and Jim Head's car. I mean, they fired off a shot round 1 there in Vegas, which I felt like we still had a legit shot in Vegas if we could win that race, and it just didn't work out. So we knew that it was going to be tough to repeat what we did in 2018, going to all those final rounds and winning that many races, just because each year the competition ramps up, and when you have the number 1 on the side of your car, everybody's gunning for you.
Yeah, and that's kind of what makes it cool, and at the same time makes it very challenging to go back to back. So winter break, I don't know what you did. Hopefully you had a good time, got relaxed, you toured around, you did some fun stuff, etc. But then big test in Vegas last week, and I know we had discussed talking. So this is like the Vegas test debrief as we get ready for the 60th Lucas Oil Winter Nationals. What is it like getting back into one of these beasts after a couple of months off? Right, just going fast at all is a change of scenery when you've been like chillaxing. But to get into a 330 mile per hour nitro car for the first time, I can't imagine that's easy to do.
No, it gets your attention every time. You realize how rusty you are basically the first time you hit the throttle on one of those beasts. But yeah, the off season was good. It seemed like it was short, so I'm all for that. Spent some time in Florida for DHL, then, spent some time back down there again for New Year's, a little vacation. And it seemed like after the holidays, it was basically, time to go. So in between then and now, I've tried to throw in some training there back in Indy, just try and stay in shape or get back in shape and work on my reaction times and what have you. And then next thing you know, we were in Vegas testing. So it was nice to get out there and make some runs. We didn't have the flashy numbers that a lot of the teams did, but that's also because, we're trying things, we're testing. So it's all about, making those numbers count when you need to, and hopefully that starts here this weekend in Pomona.
Making the car do what you want it to do. Now, I see you made a side-by-side run in Vegas against a DHL delivery van, and you won.
Yeah, I had better won that matchup, but no, it was cool. It made for some good pictures and good video there on the starting line. But yeah, we're hoping to do some cool, promotional stuff like that with DHL and Toyota and Mobile One. Just everybody's excited. Social media is the big craze now. So when you get opportunities to do things like that, you got to take advantage of it. And I think you're going to see a lot of cool stuff from Coletta Motorsports and those sponsors I mentioned this year.
Exciting stuff. So we spoke with Chad a couple of weeks ago, and he gave us like the lowdown on the test and the why and all of that, but also, just a general understanding of the team. We also spoke like this week as we get ready for the Winter Nationals. It's heavy Coletta Motorsports. Spoke with Sean. Speaking with you, Sean is psyched to go back to Top Fuel, but I also sense a little bit of it's just such a different attitude being a funny car driver as opposed to being a Top Fuel driver. He's going back to play with those guys and gals, and you're going to have to hold it down for Coletta as the lone funny car.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's going to change the way that we do things on the funny car side. Just maybe we get a little more attention from Toyota and TRD and guys like that. But at the same time, we work really well with our dragster guys, with Rob Flynn and Troy and those Mac Tools guys, and then Kurt and Connie on the DHL side. So we all share information with each other. I think Sean's going to do really well in the old man's car. I mean, he's definitely been a dragster guy from day one. I'm not taking anything away from him driving the funny car, because I feel like there towards the end of the season last year, they were really getting it together, and he was getting more comfortable in the car, and his confidence was higher. But at the end of the day, I think he would rather be in that Top Fuel dragster than a funny car. So I expect him to do well, and that Mac Tools car is always a contender. So hopefully between the two of them, they can be in the hunt for the championship there at the end of the year with us as well. I mean, first off, we need to double up. That's something we haven't done at Coletta Motorsports yet, and it's been a long time coming for sure. I mean, we've had opportunities in the past, and I expect us to have some more opportunities this year to accomplish that.
Yeah, I think that I agree that everyone is secretly like rooting for that to happen. Even those of us that are impartial on race day, you always know what the good story is, and that's one that we all want to see. The Coletta double, and just it's been close many times to just kind of get it off the desk, right? Let it happen, and then once it happens once, I'm sure it'll happen a couple of times.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because you see, the Schumacher teams and the Force teams do it. It just seems like, man, they did it again. Like once they finally broke through and doubled up, it just happens effortlessly now. So yeah, I mean, it's not like we're putting pressure on ourselves to go out there and accomplish that. Like I said, we've been really close to doing it in the past, and when that day comes, man, there's going to be some beat up crew guys on that starting line. That's for sure.
I believe it. So let's look ahead at the season in that, you've been a junior dragster racer. You've invested your life in this. And I asked a similar question to Sean. And at this time of the year, I ask a similar question to everybody, because we're getting geeked up to go again. And we all want this sport to be as prosperous and successful as possible, to generate as much interest as is possible. There were some changes during the off season. The change to the countdown, the way they're doing it. It's Sean signed off with no more participation trophies, etc. I get that. There's a lot of negativity, but let's talk about towards that, the way that's going. But let's talk about like what you'd like to see, right? Like what can we do? What can be done? What would you like to see? How can we engage better? What would you like to see? This is one of your big topics all the time on Nomex Effect, and whenever we talk, we end up talking about issues like this. So here at the start of the season, I felt like we had a good year last year. How can we be better this year?
Man, I wish I had the answer for that. It was that easy to make it better, but at the end of the day, like, we just got to get more press for our sport, more fans, more younger fans involved in our sport. And we also need more teams back out here. I mean, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. I mean, you show up to Pomona and there's 20 to 25 cars entered for Funny Car and Top Fuel. It just seems like those days have gone by the wayside. We need that back. But I understand what NHRA is getting at with the change of the countdown and what have you. And yeah, everybody's saying, well, now they're handing out participation trophies. But to me, at the end of the day, you're still going to have the same players battling for the championship in the countdown. And I don't see that changing when it comes to the World Finals here in Pomona. So we just need to go out there this year, win as many races as we can, and then get hot at the end of the year and not worry about whether it's 1 through 15 or 1 through 10 battling for a championship there at the end of the year. I just want to be number one. I don't care how many cars are battling for it.
Right. Well, and that was my kind of analysis in that I understand exactly what they're doing to try to get people to participate. First of all, in the scrappers racing, they're not starting till the Spring Nationals, and so I don't want to say it didn't work. It's working maybe for some of the other teams, but we'll have to see how it works, right? And whether it actually does entice people to do it. Regardless, though, if you go to all the races and only make 2 qualifying efforts, you're probably not going to contend for the championship at the most critical time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, okay, so there might be, some guys doing that at the beginning of the year, but when it comes down to go time, like you said, you're not going to be able to do that and contend because push come to shove, like you need all them bonus points and whatever that you get throughout the year in those qualifying runs to put yourself in a position to win a championship. And I understand that, there's certain guys, Torrances and scrappers, that can afford to miss races and probably still contend because they have the parts and pieces and the resources and the manpower behind them to go out there and get it done. I mean, the scrappers guys, they got Alan Johnson and Brian Houston, those guys. I mean, that's a recipe for winning right there. So they know that they can afford to miss some races and still be in contention because they did that last year.
I think there's something to be said. They did do it last year, and they had a good effort. But I also think there's something to be said, and I want your opinion on this as someone who's inside a team and has these conversations with Jono and Todd and the grooving, right? The muscle memory, the grooving, the week after week, the doing it. You take a week off. I don't know. I feel like you mentioned rustiness, right? I feel like it comes back quickly. And everybody that I talk to loves racing every weekend. They want to get into a groove and really feel like this is what they're doing all the time. So I think skipping races and stuff is not conducive to success ultimately, unless you're Billy Torrance.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I 100% agree with you. If it were me, I'd race every week because I don't like the beginning of the year or schedule. I feel like we have too much time off to where I can't. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. You can't get in a groove really because, 2 and 3 weeks off at a time seems like you've been off at a month almost. I'm not saying you forget, you just really don't get yourself in a rhythm yet. To where I like the summer months when we got, 2 and 3 races in a row and just maybe a week off here and there just to keep yourself fresh and keep going. It kind of reminds me of my buddy Kyle Larson when he's not, inside that cup car, he's at a dirt track, just getting seat time and staying sharp. And I feel like that's what makes him a better driver at the end of the day.
Whatever you do, whatever it is, you're fishing, you're playing baseball, whatever it is, if you do it every day or as often as is possible, you're going to be ahead of the competition. Speaking of Kyle Larson, have you, he won the Chili Bowl. I know that was a very big deal for him. Those guys are getting ready for Daytona, of course. I love the fact that we start first, though. To me, everybody just turned off their TVs after football season, and now they got nothing to watch, and maybe they'll watch us. But have you spoken with Kyle? And, he seemed pretty stoked about that win.
Oh, man. I had a small Chili Bowl party or watch party at my house, to watch the race all day long. So there was probably half dozen people or so over at my place, and we were going nuts once he took the checkers there Saturday night. That's been a long time coming for him, and I'm a huge fan of his, and lucky to call him a buddy. So after that, we were FaceTiming him. It was probably 1 or 2 in the morning, and he was still pumped up and excited after that. So it was cool to see, and I feel like now that he's broken through to win this first Chili Bowl, that it's going to be on after that.
Your friends are doing real well right now. Bigger win, Clint Boyer's Chiefs winning the Super Bowl or Kyle Larson winning the Chili Bowl?
I got to say Kyle Larson winning the Chili Bowl, because there's been so much pressure on him every year just because he's been so close for, it seems like the last 10 years almost. And, I don't know. The Chiefs, yeah, it was cool to see. I was kind of pulling for them. I thought the Niners would get it done though, but yeah, I was happy for Boyer, but I'm sure that his liver is paying the price after that, which it was well worth it, I'm sure, down there in South Beach. But yeah, at the end of the day, I would have to say Kyle's Chili Bowl win. I mean, when he says that's the biggest win of his career, that just shows you that how big of a race that is to him and to everybody watching.
Yeah, I love the fact that there is a mutual respect, and you are, you, Caps, a couple, kind of cutting edge with that, like good relationships, respectful relationships with racers in other series. They watch you, you watch them, they care about what you're doing and are interested, and you care about what they're doing. I think that's always really good for motorsports. We lost John Andretti a couple of, I guess last week on Thursday, and that was like a real reminder of some of the cross-pollination we had in the past, back when race car drivers would jump in anything, right? What? Top Fuel Dragster? Yes, let's go. Let's do it. And he had success. I think that's good for the sport, motorsport in general, right? Like we're a minority of sports fans out here. It's always tough for racing, period. Even NASCAR compared to like the NFL. I think it's good when there's like that cross respect.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one regret that I have, throughout my career. When I was younger, just not taking advantage of opportunities to go drive, different forms of race cars when I was young and dumb. So now whenever those opportunities come about and I get to interact with other drivers and different forms of racing, I'm all for it and building those relationships. And I think that's what helps grow motorsports in general, just getting everybody's attention and seeing what you're doing and, realizing that you like other forms of racing and open up doors, maybe even with different sponsors. I think Toyota's finally realized that, I like dirt track racing and off-road racing and things like that. So they're trying to get me involved in, doing some cross-promotion, things like that. And a few of us are headed to the King of the Hammers event out here on the West Coast tomorrow to see Casey Curry, who just won the Dakar Rally, who I think that's, one of the most badass races in the world. And to have an American win that and be able to go hang out with them tomorrow, that's to me, that's kind of like a bucket list item.
Yeah, those the off-road, speaking of Dakar, right? Like that's incredible. The Baja, what Snake has done the past couple of years. Guys are doing it on motorcycles and stuff, craziness. But it's this weird, I don't know how to describe it. Like it's a spiritual thing, right? Like kind of like surfing, running across the land. You don't know what's ahead. It's as opposed to like track racing, which is what we do.
Yeah, that's something I want to do before I'm done, getting behind the steering wheel, is go around the Baja 1000. I mean, I've had opportunities to do it in the past and did a little stint with Morgan Lucas, and we only made it about 200 miles out of a 1,400-mile race there. I think it was the 40th anniversary of the 1000. So we weren't really prepared to go do that and didn't do it right. But now that, I'm getting to know more people involved in the sport and what have you, like I want to go do it if the opportunity's right. And, I see Snakes always off-road racing and side-by-side and things like that. Like, I just think things like that are really cool and just something that I'm interested in doing.
I love the idea of our guys getting out there and doing it as well because, even if we have to build these relationships and fans, like person by person, I think that's what drag racing has to do. And it's cool to see, someone like yourself out there or Snake have an interest, right? Like, hey, I got somebody to root for just like that. So, JR, here we are, Winter Nationals this weekend. Is there anything you want the WFO universe to know about you this season as we go out there? Something to look for, something to watch for, something to think about as we get ready to go on this 24-race journey with you once again?
I don't know, man. It's just I wouldn't say we got some big changes ahead, but I did hear some rumblings from some media members last weekend in testing that, that it was hard to believe the championship team could go out there and be that good and then be very unchampionship-like the following season. It's like, well, dude, we didn't try to go out there and not win races or lose. It's just the competition funny car is stacked. And it gets harder and harder to win rounds, let alone win races and be in contention for a championship every year. And I don't see this year being any different. I mean, Robert is definitely my opinion, the best driver in the class, probably the best team in the class, and there's a reason they got the number one on the side. So now the pressure is on them to go out there and repeat that, and everybody's going to be gunning for them. And Coletta Motorsports always seems like when it comes to media attention or things like that, we're always under the radar. So when we win, I don't want to say it's a surprise, but it's like not as expected, I guess, when JFR or DSR wins. So hopefully we can rack up some wins in that DHL Toyota and kind of fly under the radar again and be there at the end of the year battling for a championship.
There you go. What was the implication, of the comments? I guess, like if you think of sports radio, people kind of put out a lot of just comments just to be talking, but I don't quite understand the implication that you guys took it easy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering. I mean, I heard everything secondhand, so I can't really say exactly what it was. But yeah, I mean, when it got back to me, I'm like, wow, that's I guess we're just out here, half-ass racing. But no, I mean, that's we get paid to come out here and perform at a high level. It's not like we decided to take vacation in 2019 and enjoy having the number one on the side. It's hard to go out there and win. And I don't know. Well, I wish I had the answer to that question.
You know what I think it is, JR, really? I love this sport. I do. I love it since I was a little kid, just like you. But I also love other sports. And I really think that our sport, maybe of all the sports, is probably the least relatable to the person who isn't doing it. Like, I have run down a sideline and caught a pass. Now, I haven't run as fast, and the guy throwing the ball didn't throw it as hard, and the guy defending me was not really that great. But, I kind of understand the mechanism of it. Whereas what you do, there's no possible relation to just driving the car, getting into the car, pulling the body down, having the guys fired up, seal you in there. Oh, by the way, there's a guy in the other lane with a group of guys that's as good as your guys, and they're trying to beat you. And this is happening every race. Like, there's nothing that can prepare. Even the guy who goes to every race, the journalist, right? Like, you can't possibly understand because it's just so out of this world, and that's the reason we're all there. We love it because it's insane. It's just really hard to relate to the situation. That's my opinion of why we have things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it were me, I would challenge that journalist or whatever you want to call them to, go be a crew member for a year, and maybe you'll finally understand why things happen. There's so many variables that go into just making one run that looks perfect down the track, and there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of these guys don't understand. It looks really simple when you're watching from the sidelines or in the stands or even on TV, but until you're involved in it day to day, you really don't get what makes one of these 11,000 horsepower machines so unpredictable.
There you go. Yeah, well, after all, you're just driving straight, right? I mean, how hard could it be?
Yeah, exactly.
JR, thank you very much. Good luck this season. I really appreciate what you have done, and I wish you good luck on the year. I'm excited to be back out there and watch it unfold, whichever direction it goes. I know it's going to be exciting. Thank you for making the time for us on WFO.
Anytime, Joe. I appreciate it.
Thank you, JR. JR Todd with us here on WFO Radio. JR, one of the good guys out there, and he's got relationships across motorsports, doing a good job of representing our 330-mile-per-hour drivers. He is one of the best out there. He's done it in Top Fuel. He's done it in Funny Car. He's had great success, and he's got attitude, got swagger, and he's going to try to fight it out. And I love hearing him talk about, Robert and Jimmy and Chris Cunningham and how tough they are, and they are. And that is an interesting story. Going back-to-back in Funny Car. It hasn't been done since John Force, way back in the day, long time. And you can't get the shot at it without winning it once. And now Robert's got a shot at it. Can they go back-to-back, or will everybody stop them? That's a fun storyline to follow. And that's going to do it. Just like that, we are all headed to Pomona, headed out to get ready for the 60th Lucas Oil Winter Nationals, first race of the year. Hopefully all my WFO radio listeners will come out and hang out. If you're out there in the Cali area, you're going to drive in. And if you listen to this show on a regular basis, I'm at the races and I am accessible. And so you can come by, you scream WFO at me. At very least, I'll say, what's up? Maybe I've got a WFO sticker on me, maybe not. If you would like some WFO radio stickers, you can make it easy for me and send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Castello Media /WFO stickers, P.O. Box 848-353, Pembroke Pines, Florida 33084. And usually I can fit 4 in an envelope on a regular stamp. You send the self-addressed stamped envelope. It's really costing you 2 stamps and some of your time. And you're saving me some time, because I don't have to write out the envelope and all that stuff. I'm super excited for the start of the season. I hope you are as well. Everybody rocks their gear, gets on board. Let's go with it and see what happens. What will we be talking about in November? It's a journey, right? Our lives. We're about to go on this journey beginning this weekend. And hopefully you love it and you enjoy it. And if you want to go back and hear all our champions in the archive, you can definitely do that as well. Thank you so much for listening. WFO.
This is WFO Radio.
I love WFO Radio. Oh, yeah.
The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
Attention adrenaline junkies, Frank Hawley's Dragster Adventure is calling you. Rides available for the 2020 season. Go to frankhawley.com. They're coming to a track near you. It makes a great gift, and you know the holidays are coming, whether it be licensing for Super Comp, Super Gas, all the way up to Top Alcohol, they can do it. But if you're a drag racing fan and you've always imagined what it might be like to drive a dragster, to accelerate 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and run 10s in the quarter mile, give them a call. 866-480-7223, frankhawley.com, the Dragster Adventure, and tell them you heard it on WFO. You're working in the shop, you've got spills, you've spilled oil, it's everywhere. What are you going to do? I know what you're going to do, but that's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to go to magicdryus.com and order the official organic absorbent of the National Hot Rod Association, Magic Dry. It's lighter, it absorbs more, it's better for the environment. It's made out of coconut. It's made in America. magicdryus.com. They've got spill kits that include everything you need for a regular, normal household spill, all the way up to a large industrial spill. We always say, if you've got a cat, get Cat Spot. If you've got a shop, if you've got a factory, if you've got a spill, call Magic Dry. That's magicdryus.com.
Start your education at full speed with the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Accelerate your career as a high-performance engine builder with classroom instruction and practical hands-on experience in the lab, on the dyno, and at the track. In addition to the block, head, and CNC programs, SAM now offers motorsport, EFI tuning, and an Associates of Applied Science degree. And SAM is a military-friendly school, approved to train veterans and other eligible persons under the GI Bill. Start your education at full speed. Go to samtech.edu today.
We're talking gourmet coffee, we're talking hot sauces, we're talking spice rubs, we're talking everything good at RodakCoffeeandGrills.com. Marvin Rodak, been doing it since the 70s, figured out that life is better with great coffee, and oh, he's so right. 817-924-6821. Call Marvin. He'll roast up some coffee fresh for you. Throw in some hot sauce, some spice rub, and you will be loving it. Hit him up, RodakCoffeeandGrills.com. Hey, engine builders, Total Seal piston rings are the leader in ring seal technology, and they go out of their way to help their customers and will make custom sets for any specific piston you might have. Customer service, top notch. Made in America? Absolutely. They're located in Phoenix, Arizona, and they've got everything it takes to develop the world's best piston rings. Give them a call at 800-874-2753 or go to TotalSeal.com.
This is Sean from Traverse City, Michigan. You ever get done with an episode of Ignition or Nitro and say, man, that's a good job. I'd like to give them a pat on the back and a cold beer. Well, with Patreon, you can. So send that drink down to Gio and Joe.
This is WFO Radio.